and good afternoon to our Pacific leaders. I hope all of you are doing very great today. Welcome to our digital product opportunity meeting, Prism Our Opportunity, and thank you for taking your time to join us today. My name is Fion, and I am the product marketing manager of Pharmanex at New Skin Southeast Asia Pacific. And I'm super excited to be back as the facilitators for today's session as we will discuss the greatest opportunity that Prism IO will bring to all of us here. So in this meeting, we are especially pleased to invite our corporate speaker and two of our incredible sales leaders to join us and share their insights on Prism IO opportunity. So you are here from Dr. Joseph Chang, our chairman of New Skin Scientific Advisory Board, about the uniqueness and strengths of Prism IO in the wellness industry and its competitive advantages. And you will also hear from two Southeast Asia Pacific leaders who will share with you why it is so important to build your business with the Prism IO and their views to fully leverage the Prism to engage new customers and drive business growth. So it's powered by our proprietary Spectra Ray technology and built from over 20 years of antioxidant research. Prism IO provides you with the real-time insights into your nutritional status, and we will have Dr. Joe to tell you more and how. So alright, without further ado, I'm going to invite our first speaker for today. He is none other than our beloved Dr. Joseph Chang, the chairman of New Skin Scientific Advisory Board. Let's give our warm virtual welcome to Dr. Joe. Hi, Dr. Joe.
Oh, hi, Fion.
How are you doing?
Yeah, great. And I know there's lots of people on this call tonight. It's great. Or maybe it's your morning, a little bit in the afternoon over in down under in Australia. So you guys are all wide awake. I'm fast fading into slumberland, but never mind. It's exciting right now having everybody here. You know, it's sort of interesting. Before I start telling you about the Prism, I think what the Prism has done, in my mind, is essentially put New Skin as a company and as a business with all of you at the crossroads. All of you, if you don't see or appreciate the fundamental importance or the role that this new Prism scanner can play in growing the business, then I think we would have wasted this opportunity for everybody. All right. And this session is really critically important because all of you, I believe, if I'm not wrong, are really brand representatives and up, right? So for you, it's more than just about a new product. It's really sort of looking at New Skin as an opportunity. I'm often reminded that New Skin doesn't exist if you guys don't exist and you don't really go out and grow your business. It's that simple. And I think in the Prism scanner, we have developed a really important tool for all of you to be able to penetrate markets and to be able to tell the New Skin nutrition story to far more people than previously been possible. I'll tell you a story, and this is probably pretty important. When we all look at the pyramids, and I don't really think whether you are Indonesia or whether you're Malaysia, Singapore, Australia, or whatever, everybody looks at those pyramids, and we know what they are and who built them and so on, right, in Egypt. And you also look at the pyramids and you start seeing little figures being on the walls of those pyramids. And the collection of them, you would imagine, you say, oh, those are just funny paintings those old ancient Egyptians drew on their pyramids. But very soon, we, or at least archaeologists and people are beginning to realize that those hieroglyphics, that's what they're called, was a language used by the Egyptians to describe their lives. To us, we couldn't understand it. To us, it was just funny looking figures on the walls of the pyramids. It wasn't until about 150 to 170 years ago when Napoleon, during his war in Africa, in Egypt particularly, that he found a particular stone. And on that stone was written part of it in hieroglyphics. And incredibly enough, there were two other languages that we, the modern people, could understand, and that was ancient Greek and modern Greek. That's how we learned how the hieroglyphics became, and we became to understand what the Egyptian or the Egyptian civilization was all about more than 5,000 years ago. And that's what we have with the scanner. Over the last, we have the scanner over the 20 years. You saw that that movie, right? And S1 and so on and so forth. And all we were saying at that point in time was it measures the antioxidant status in the body. Great, but ask yourself, it's almost like hieroglyphics for most people. What exactly is an antioxidant? And so on and so on. Many of you who have been with Nu Skin long enough, frankly, I would claim it took me 20 years, or it took all our scientists 20 years to get all of you to understand the importance of antioxidants. I think we have reached a stage now with the Prysm, because of the 20 years of data that we had obtained from the S1, S2, S3, and so on, from that antioxidant level, plus other things that you may not realize we had been collecting from those individuals, that together it gave us a database. All right? And from that database, with the advent of artificial intelligence, we were able to develop an algorithm to understand what that antioxidant level is all about. It still is the antioxidant we're measuring, but now we understand what it says and what it is telling us. And I'll show you, I guess I have to share some slides with you, right? If I can I share? Yes. All right, let me see whether, I think I can share it with you, right? You can see it.
Dr. Joe, the slide is not in the presentation mode, it's in the PowerPoint. So yeah, you have to put it under slideshow.
Okay, slideshow, can you see it?
Not yet, hold on.
Can you see it?
Yes, we can see.
Okay, right, you can see it. So, yeah. All right. So with that as a background, right? And I've always looked at Nu Skin for all of you as an opportunity. And what does it really mean from the product perspective? Back in 1984, this was almost 40 years ago, it was about personal care in 1984. And the story is, or was, all of the good, none of the bad. That's really what it was. No matter what it is we talk about, it boils down to the fact that we always wanted all of the good, but we always leave out the contaminants. Okay? In 1992, Pharmanex came along, and we sort of had nutritional products introduced as well. But Pharmanex came along in 2002, maybe actually earlier than that, before 1998. I think they got the date wrong there. In 1998, that's when we had science-based products. That's the story. That was your opportunity. That's why Nu Skin acquired Pharmanex in 1998 to give you those science-based nutritional products so that we have the ability to substantiate all the claims or benefits behind each product. That's why we have the success process. Many of you, I know you're telling the success process, right? So you really understood what that was all about. In 2002, we show you the biophotonic scanner, and that was the first time, right? Okay, everybody talks, and everybody has nutritional product, frankly, but the problem is, how do you know they work? You don't really, I mean, that's one of the biggest challenges that we had with nutritional product is the fact that you cannot see, unlike skincare products, the benefits. So you keep on asking yourself, does it really work for me? I bet you that was sometimes one of those kinds of responses that you have experienced, right? When you talk to people. Well, with the biophotonic scanner, you don't have to. You can actually see before and after with the products. And then we came out around that year some beauty devices as well. So for all intents and purposes, each and every one of these platforms, as we call them, these are the ones that boost the new skin opportunity. And then we have age-law. In Southeast Asia, I don't have to really talk much about age-law. It has been the fulcrum. It has been the anchor, that you use to build the new skin opportunity business, right? Because we were the first company actually have been able on the gene expression side, on the genetics, to be able to address the sources of aging rather than just symptoms of aging. That's how meaningful and powerful those age-law products are. And that includes TRME. There's no doubt about it, all right? And then we have the connected beauty devices now. For those of you who have a greater passion for skin, we have the Lumi Spa, we have the Galvanic Spa, and we have so many of these devices, so much so that we are now the #1 beauty device system company in the world. I sort of almost consider these as the 5 smooth stones that we have developed over the last 40 years in our skin. What 5 smooth stones? 5 smooth stones is a biblical story from the Old Testament where one of those smooth stones was used by David to bring down Goliath. All right? But what you sometimes forget is that David had in his little leather pouch 4 other smooth stones. Why did he had to keep another 4 additional stones in the pouch? That's because he knew, and many of us who remember the David and Goliath story, we didn't remember that Goliath has 4 other brothers, and they might come and try to take down David's tribe. So he has to be prepared. And we have been preparing. So that's why I call them, these are our 5 smooth stones of opportunity. And now we're doing a little bit better than David. We're bringing out the 6th smooth stone. And this is about the Prysm IO. You're going to hear a lot about it. It's like I said, we are at a threshold. We are at a point of inflection that if you take this in your hands and you can actually become David, we're going to bring down everything in the competition, in the competitive field. No question about it. No ifs and buts. I really believe the Prysm is the beginning of another era in new skin as far as the opportunity is concerned. All right? And this is a revolution because now, yes, we still remember, yes, I hear it all the time. Oh, yeah, you're still measuring antioxidant. Well, yeah, the hieroglyphics has been on the pyramids for the last 5,000 years. Why suddenly they became important? Well, it became important because we finally understood what it meant. Same thing here. We finally now, in Nu Skin, after more than 20 years of data collection, we are finally able to link the antioxidant level that we can measure with the Prysm to now mean the level of your nutritional wellness. That's the great leap forward, all right? That's the translation that we did. Nobody can do that translation. Yes, there might be still some antioxidant measurement devices out there and so on, but without that database that we created over the last 20 years, over more than 20 years, they can't do what we do with the Prysm IO. All right? And these antioxidants, as you put it in here, it covers a whole range. Now it's nutritional status. All right? Take that antioxidant out, put nutrition status out. It covers all the different type of products we have in your skin. So in a way, from your business perspective, I don't really care which product that you are really passionate about. Insofar, I totally appreciate the fact that not all of us are passionate about a particular product, right? Our sort of passion could be different. It doesn't matter. The Prysm is so inclusive that it can be incorporated into your business narrative with very little problem, regardless of the product that you use. Because each and every one, the benefit of those products will get better because your nutritional level or status in your body gets better. See, it's like an umbrella, right? So when I look at AS3, the movie was great, the beginning video, right? And all that. And here we have the puck. And everybody, me included, it's fascinating. We've been able to get a puck size, a portable version, 15 seconds and so on. We can measure these substances called carotenoids in the skin and so on. But I'm hoping you can appreciate up to this point that it is very different from the previous scanner. We have already been successful with the previous scanner. We should be even more successful with the Prysm because it's measuring, it's giving out a way more meaningful outcome. You can ask a person the question, gee, would you like to know about your nutritional status? Isn't that a better question than say, gee, do you really want to know about your antioxidant level? Frankly, unless that person is a scientist or a technical person, it takes a lot of explanation. Nutrition status, I can bet you every single person would be interested, right? So, and you take it in 15 seconds, you can measure it, and you have all the attributes that the previous scanner has, and now you have it in 15 seconds, and it's really, we have translated the so-called carotenoid levels to be a very important biomarker of nutrition. All right. So, and I can go into a lot of the science, but for now, just remember, this is how we combine artificial intelligence, our database, and our new light technology all into something that we call the Prysm IO. All right. Frankly, when you talk about artificial intelligence, that's a buzzword everybody uses now to describe how great it is. But do they really understand? In order to do artificial intelligence, you got to train the computer with data. If there is no data, you cannot train. Or you cannot even actually attempt AI. All right? It's not spontaneously like the computer gets clever. It got to be trained, and that's where our proprietary position is that 25 years worth of data. You know, artificial intelligence is no different from who we are compared to the human brain. Look, all of us got sort of, we were born with a brain, right? How come we're not instantly clever? Have you asked yourself that? How come we have to go to school? Why? Because we had to go to school to get data to train our brain. Except we now call it education. But for intents and purposes, it's the same thing here. The light technology is great because it's very versatile. And this is a new kind of light technology that will allow us to measure other markers in the future as we move along. And these are the five lights, wavelengths, if you will. Orange, light blue, green, red, and purple, if you will. And all these are different wavelengths. And our Prism IO could be used in the future to go and measure other equally important markers and be able to incorporate it with what we're measuring now. So what you're seeing right now with the Prism IO is really a tip of the iceberg, and there are lots of other future things we can come up with. So validation, right? So Chi, I have this sort of question or criticism. Oh, well, yeah. Can you develop this scanner just to make all your products look good, right? It's really a new skin product scanner. No. And we have done a lot of studies that if you really eat well, you're going to score high. All right? So there's no doubt it is really independently objective and really reflects the nutrition level or how well you eat. You can do that. I'm not going to lie and say, only way you can achieve better results is with new skin products. You can, but the thing is, nutrition is the one that tells us that is an objective measurement. And all these things about dietary habits and so on, I won't go into it, but this is what I've been talking about, right? If your body composition, in other words, if you're somewhat high in your BMI, your score is going to be low because we know your nutrition is not very good, right? If you don't exercise and so on, and you're living in a very high stress level, your score is going to go down too, all other things being equal, and so on. Okay? So, and we've coded this in the colors so that it could be easily understood. So, and here's a good example, especially for this particular audience, you would appreciate because Tiami is a wonderful system you've been using a lot, right? So, all things other being equal, body weight or high fat body composition is all about you getting into a situation or into a condition that has high stress, chronic inflammation, and so on, that will drive your score down, or you and really tells you, hey, your nutritional level is not going to be terribly optimal, right? And this is just a study to show us the less weight you have, the better your score. All other things being equal, all right? So, and these are some of the products we have, and so identifying a problem without a solution sometimes can be actually disconcerting, if you will. Why do I want to know a problem if I can't solve it? Well, you can with many of the Pharmanex products and New Skin products. So you can do that, and Life Pack particularly, we can show really nice improvement within a period. As soon as about after 6 weeks, I think you can start seeing an improvement in your nutrition score, if you will. And this is just to show you some of the science we've done. Lots of studies we're going to be published on the Prism IO, and this will validate what we have. Okay, we're working with universities. They're very excited all around the world, and they'll be using our device to measure things. The engineering is exclusive, and importantly, is going to be very consistent in terms of giving you a value, and it's 15 seconds. But remember, this is a means to an end, right? Fundamentally, if you truly want to come back to the opportunity, the growth is not to just scan people, but actually to get them to take action. And by taking action means to get on a new skin product or whatever, right? And be able to help them see the progress if they consume that product on a regular basis. So, these are all the things that we have. And I think, frankly, there are other machines that are available that say they measure antioxidant, and they are, but they just cannot do, they take the extra step in translation. All right? And these are all just the different things we do. Talk about the solution. Oh, and by the way, you can Bluetooth it and connect it, pair it with your phone, your smartphone, and be able to give you also an additional reading of the score with a number. So in addition to the color, you get the number as well. So I've given you a lot of information within these last 20 minutes or so. Think about what I just said, right? Think about the great leap that we have taken into nutrition. This is your before and after, if you will, if you're from the skin world, right? This is your before and after in the nutrition world. You can now see the benefits you can get by using a product, right? So that will lead to all sorts of other things and so on as well, because it's more convincing when somebody can see something rather than just have to believe you. And it is a measurement of something that there are very few people who would not be interested in knowing their nutrition level. I think that's what I would say, and I better stop here and sort of give time back to Graham and Willing and Fionn. Fionn?
Thank you so much, Dr. Joe. It's always so insightful to listen from you, especially the analogy that you made at the beginning of your presentations, right? So after listening to Dr. Joe, I believe all our leaders here agree that Prysm is not just a tool for our leaders to know about our nutritional status, but at the same time, it is a business tool that assists you in recommending our SCS product and of course the TRME products, right? So thank you so much, Dr. Joe, for your time with us today. We hope that we can listen more from you. Thank you, Dr. Joe. So up next, I'd like to hand over the time to my colleagues Adrian from Regional Sales Team to facilitate the business sharing session. So Adrian, over to you.
Hey, Fionn. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you,
And Joe,
Adrian.
once again, thank you, Fionn. And Joe, thank you. It's always a pleasure to hear from Joe. And I think all the leaders will agree. Every time we hear from Joe, I know we know him as a scientist, but I think it always feels like he's an entrepreneur and businessman with a lab coat more than anything, right? Joe's exceptional, and he's always exceptional at how he's able to blend high science and business and make it so easy for us to understand, right? Without a PhD or an MBA, right? And what he has just shared essentially is how transformational this opportunity Prysm represents for us, right? Thank you, Joe. Once again, we really appreciate